Good morning. I'm Beth Gallick, the Executive Director for the Bay Area Manufacturers Association. Welcome. BAMA is a membership organization serving the manufacturing industry in the Tampa Bay region. BAMA supports manufacturers and promotes economic development in our area. We are the official representative of the Florida Makes Network in Tampa, and through this affiliation, we help manufacturing companies by expanding market opportunities, developing customized innovative solutions, adopting best practices, and addressing opportunities for state-of-the-art technologies and training. Our solutions are designed to help companies address current challenges, create new opportunities for growth, and achieve measurable results. We also serve as advocates for the industry and for promoting and advancing manufacturing careers. Today, we're here to help change your perception of what it means to work in manufacturing. And with that purpose and in celebration of the Manufacturing Month, we're hosting free virtual events and activities for you to engage with throughout the month of October. But before we begin, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items. If you're having any technical difficulties, please click on the square with the question mark found at the bottom of your screen. My team and I will be interacting with you through the event question and answer box. And if you have any questions throughout today's presentation, please submit your questions through the question and answer box right below where you see me. And you can test that right now. So let's find out who is with us this morning. Tell us what company or what school you're joining us from. And today we have a real treat for you. And you may even have some products right in your home that were manufactured by today's company. The facility we're visiting today was also a winner of the 2020 Sterling Manufacturing Business Excellence Awards. Today we have Bausch and Lomb. And we're lucky enough to have some of the top company representatives with us today to share their experiences working in manufacturing at one of the world's largest suppliers of contact lenses, lens care products, pharmaceuticals, and other eye surgery products. So please welcome with us today our human resources partner for the past few years at Bausch and Lomb, Dora Aroro. Her education is in human resources and management. We have with us the Director of Manufacturing, Ken Patton. He's been with Bausch and Lomb since 2017. He has a Bachelor of Science in Microbiology and 25 years of experience in aseptic manufacturing, quality control, and quality assurance. He has several roles within the site, including Quality Control Microbiology Lab Supervisor, Manufacturing Manager, Manufacturing Quality Assurance Manager, and Quality Assurance Compliance Manager. Also with us is Site Director Bob Fulop. He's been at Bausch and Lomb for a year and holds a degree in Electrical Engineering and Business Administration. He has 30 years of post-college experience with 25 years in pharmaceuticals at Bausch and Lomb, AstraZeneca, Bristol Myers, Human Genome Sciences, and Amgen. We also have the Director of Engineering, Nicole Ferrari, who has worked at the Tampa facility for over 20 years. She holds a master's degree in chemical engineering from USF. And as the engineering director, she is responsible for the technical operations of the site, including process engineering, capital project management, validation, facilities, utilities, maintenance, and calibration. So thank you all for joining us today. And we'd like to go through and find out why manufacturing is important to all of you. So we'll have Dora start.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Dora Arroyo. I'm the HR manager for the site here in Tampa. Glad to be here this morning. It's an honor and a pleasure. Basically, manufacturing to me is important to the community, important for our growth in the economy. It provides jobs, which is most important to us here. Of course, opportunities and careers in the community. Manufacturing also adds skills. It generates economic activity, programs, trainings, grants to participants and employees. And I generally love a fast-paced environment, right? So my job here at Bausch and Lomb is to ensure employees are provided with opportunities. We have a good recruiting program. Actually, I have a slide I could show on our current job openings. And we provide career enhancement and community involvement. So if you can see the attached slide shows our current openings. As you see, we have various shifts available. So it also gives opportunities for employees to maybe have hobbies on the side, right? We come with full benefits, right? Medical, dental, vision, prescription. We even have tuition reimbursement available. We all know how important and expensive tuition is, up to $5,250 a year, right? Besides employee stock purchase plans and bonuses and so forth. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you, Dora. All right, so now we'll have Ken.
Good morning. So I think the question is, why is manufacturing important to me? You know, as part of the healthcare industry, we're a vital manufacturer that supplies prescription drugs for the treatment of numerous eye diseases and infections. Sight is really taken for granted until the minute you're diagnosed with the disease or you begin to lose it. And that's where we come in as a manufacturer of these medications. I love being part of the process that restores vision to those in need.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. And Bob?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, so when you ask the question, you know, why is manufacturing important to me? From a high level, manufacturing basically, it drives the world economy. In America, I call it the lifeblood of jobs. Majority of the people in the U.S. are working in manufacturing. And it provides jobs of varying levels of responsibility, from your entry-level jobs, which typically come from your high school education and above, all the way to upper management and leadership roles. So if you're good, you feel like you have that opportunity, then we try to train people and build their skill sets so they can be in leadership roles in the future. At Bausch and Lomb, as we talked about earlier, we're a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility in Tampa. There's over 600 people here, so focused on manufacturing and supply of products that we ship around the globe. When you see our video in a little bit, you'll hear a little bit more about our products. We provide the eye and ophthalmic products, solutions, suspensions, and gels. But you know, the key to us in Tampa is being in the pharmaceutical industry is it's critical to the health and wellness of the population. And what we do every day is we provide a direct impact on improving the lives of our patients.
Very well said. Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Yeah. And Nicole?
Yeah, good morning. It's definitely an honor as well to be here today with our future students that will be in manufacturing here in the future. Why manufacturing is important to me is, echoing what everyone has said already. We are making products that help people every day. And, with somebody that has had, even if you have an eye infection or something like that, which could affect at any age, we make those products. And my kids have been prescribed the products at Bausch & Lomb, and I've been prescribed the products. And when you get that from the pharmacy and know that you had a part in making that and you know how it's made, it's very rewarding from that point. So that's why working here is important to me from that part.
Thank you all so much. So why don't we take a look and find out a little bit more about your facility. We do have a video, so let's go ahead and show that now. Very well done. Thank you so much for allowing us to go into your facility, see a little bit more about what you do and hear from your employees. It's so interesting to see, how everyone got into the manufacturing field. And let's talk a little bit more about that. What brought you into manufacturing and, what you did before you came into manufacturing to prepare you for this career. So I'll open it up to whoever would like to answer.
I can start out. This is Bob. So I came out of school. I had done a bunch of entry-level positions throughout high school and college, typically manual labor jobs. I came out, I got into a professional job out of school, and I was traveling around the world as an engineer, starting up a bunch of manufacturing facilities. I didn't really, in the beginning, understand what manufacturing was, because I was putting in computer systems to enable people to do their job more efficiently, to produce products. And then later, after a few years' experience, I went into a manufacturing plant and worked day to day on the plant floor. And it opened my eyes to what really was going on there. And it was a beautiful transition, kind of touching the product. Especially things that people take every day. Like Nicole was talking about earlier, when you go to a drugstore and you pick up a prescription and it has your company name on it, Bausch and Lomb or AstraZeneca, the reward there is you're giving back to the community. And as an engineer, you may not think you can do that, but you can. So, and then everything you do, as we saw in the video, people come in with a great attitude, and that EC was talking about how she was promoted after 11 months on the job. And all that comes from hard work, dedication, and just the willingness to put yourself out there and try a new position in manufacturing.
Yes. And Nicole, would you like to speak a little bit more about what brought you in to the manufacturing career?
Sure. Growing up, I worked with my dad. He was a carpet layer. So, weekends and summers, I worked with him to lay carpet, and I knew that was, very hard labor. So following high school, I knew that I wanted to be an engineer. That actually came from my chemistry teacher. I was very good at chemistry and thought I wanted to be a chemist. And I was good at chemistry and math, and my high school chemistry teacher said, you should be a chemical engineer. And it kind of stuck with me. And I went to USF and applied for that. While I was at USF, I worked in a lab doing research and development, actually at the Shriners Hospital, which is nearby. And then when I graduated from USF, I came here, and this was my first job, first manufacturing job over 20 years ago. And from that, it's every 3 to 4 years I've been, it's been nice to have the opportunity to do something a little bit different. And so I've grown throughout those years and having different positions, in validation, where you prove that the equipment works as it's intended to, because we're making pharmaceuticals that could hurt people if they don't. Project management, bringing in large equipment, over manufacturing. So Ken's role, not as big as Ken's role is now, but I did that too in my time that I've been here. And then I've also spent just a lot of time in engineering. We bring in, new equipment. We also maintain the equipment. And so trying to keep the facility up and running is another big portion of the job, because if something goes down, an air handler goes down, or something happens with our ability to, cool the building or cool the products, manufacturing stops. And so it's really critical to try to always stay up as much as we can and not have any downtime, which can impact our ability to make products. So we do it both, from the the big projects coming in to then maintaining the equipment at the site.
Thank you. And Ken, would you like to speak a little more about, I know you talked about in the video, how you got into manufacturing, but maybe talk a little bit more about that process?
Yeah, sure. I'm actually a science guy by trade. I'm a microbiologist. I have a master's in science, believe it or not, in public health microbiology. And you may have to ask the question, how did you make it over into manufacturing? So I actually started here in 1995, working in our microbiology lab as a supervisor. And believe it or not, I got recruited out of the lab by the head of quality assurance at the time. They had asked me to go ahead and move over to manufacturing. That was after about 3 years in the laboratory. And I've done manufacturing ever since, and even including the quality assurance arm of manufacturing, which I really love. That was one of the best jobs I've ever had. The opportunities that we have here are endless. There are so many different positions to review, to work in, and to make a livelihood with. So, from my perspective, how I got here is a good part of the story. But what we do every day is critical to the healthcare industry.
Thank you so much. And Dora, would you like to speak a little bit more about how you got into manufacturing?
Sure. Of course, my story is a little different. I don't have all these chemistry or scientific degrees or engineering background. Of course, my background is more in business management, human resources. My story background is quite a while in the military. After retiring from the military, I went to work for a company named Mettler Toledo. They're manufacturing. I worked with them for about 14 years. Always liked the interaction with employees, always like rolling up my sleeves, helping and learning the business, learning how we can increase the skills and provide benefits to employees. So from there, transitioned over to manufacturing. I always look for manufacturing because it's a fast-paced environment. It grows in the economy. It's so important. So I've always liked the background.
Wonderful. And you speaking about, your degree being in management, human resources, even if you don't have a degree in chemical engineering or engineering, there's lots of different jobs within manufacturing that, human resources positions and marketing positions. So within the manufacturing field, there's such a variety of different positions that you can take. What are some of the other positions or departments that you have within Bausch and Lomb?
Well, we do have a quality department. Not all the quality positions do require degrees, but employees do have the opportunity to start at entry level and build up upon that and obtain degrees to get to the next level. So that's the good thing that we have within. We like to promote within. That's why we have a lot of employees like your Kens and Nicoles that have stayed here for many years because they've been able to progress through not their own learning experience, but by their degrees. And we do have a career progression, right? So you have quality. We have some administrative jobs within manufacturing, document control. We have some operator jobs as well, entry level. We've had employees that start out at operator level and they're able to get into engineering or into quality. So there's a lot of opportunities within to excel starting at a basic level.
Wonderful.
And I'll even add on to that within engineering, we have maintenance positions that do not require a degree. The people that help maintain the equipment, like the air handlers, we have boilers, we have chillers. There's that, those positions as well.
Yeah, vocational.
Exactly.
And how old would you have to be to start off in an entry-level position?
You say at least 18 years of age.
Okay, and what would be the starting salary? I know the kids
Starting
always
salary,
ask.
Of course, that starting salary always depends on the job. It could start anywhere between $11 and $12 an hour, and that would include a full range of benefits. You know, it's a big deal to get tuition reimbursement nowadays, as expensive school is, right? So we do pay. We have tuition reimbursement available, $5,250 a year, right? And besides that, we do have your medical, dental, vision, prescription. You know, medical insurance is pretty expensive as well. So we do have an affordable plan for our employees. We have service awards. We have a lot of different perks for employees. We have incentive bonuses. So we do have a lot of different opportunities, not only for career enhancement, growth, learning. You know, employees can also take advantages of our benefits and perks as well.
Okay, wonderful. And I'd like to welcome some of the folks that are here with us today. We have Atlas Packaging, Aerotech, St. Petersburg College, OpEx Consulting. So we do have quite a few folks with us today. So thank you so much for joining us. We had a question come in. How many different SKUs do you produce?
Ken?
I believe we have over 300 at the moment. That does fluctuate, though.
Okay, wonderful. And I had the opportunity of touring your facility a few times. One of the things that was very fascinating to me was the clean room aspect. And with what you produce, everything has to be, completely free of any debris. So how do you make that happen? And can you go through the process of, how someone would work in that type of environment? What process do they need to go through?
Yeah, sure. I can take that one. So we actually have at our facility what are called grade A clean rooms. They also use a few different designations. ISO, which is the international standards, they would be ISO 5 clean rooms. These are exceptionally clean from a non-viable particle standpoint and a viable particle. And by that, we mean, bacterial cells, fungal cells. We're not really worried about parasites and viruses in what we do because those require a host to survive. And our environment really isn't conducive to that. But the rooms are extremely clean. We try to always put a comparison to like a hospital operating room. And our clean rooms are levels cleaner than that type of room because we are making sterile product in what we call an aseptic processing environment. That means the product does not undergo any further sterilization or treatment before it leaves us and gets to the consumer. In order to work in that environment, it usually takes about 6 months of hands-on training just to be able to get inside and operate one of our filling lines. So those are higher paid jobs because they undergo a lot more scrutiny in what they do, and their behaviors are very closely monitored. So there are opportunities in that area from a compounding standpoint. Those are the folks that actually make the batch in a bulk form and from a filling environment. But even as Nicole mentioned, you can be in maintenance and calibration engineering, but you'll still need to access those clean rooms. So you'll have to be able to go in and work in that environment as well. And it is a very, very unique environment to work.
And what do they have to wear to go in?
So if you saw in the video, I'm not sure, it's probably not easy to find that in the video, but you can see the folks are actually gowned from head to toe in a hood, goggles, double gloves, full garment boots, and those are all worn one time. Obviously, gloves and masks are not reused, but our clean room garments actually get sent out to a third party to be cleaned and then re-sterilized and packaged so that we can use them. So our goal in sterile manufacturing is to prevent contamination of the products by the people. The people are the number one contaminant in a clean room.
And that's quite a process.
It is indeed.
And after everything is manufactured, what is the quality process for making sure everything is ready to go out to the consumer?
Anybody else want to take that, or am I getting volunteered?
You're good, Ken.
Okay, that's okay.
Especially since you worked in quality.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so all of our products get tested in-house before they are actually released for sale. And on average, that takes us between 21 and 25 days from the time of what we call finished goods manufacturing to the time we can actually send it to a distributor at the wholesale level. So we pull samples across every single batch, and those get sent for full chemistry testing and full microbiological testing. So if we have an antibiotic, we have to show that the antibiotic is effective. That's called a potency. If we have a chemical, even a chemical used to treat an infection or to treat glaucoma, we have to make sure that the potency is correct and it's effective. And we do a whole host of physical tests as well. The laboratories are filled with people with microbiology and chemical backgrounds that do the work, and those are good full-time jobs as well. Very exciting places to work. Then we also have the batch record. So we actually have a batch record that we document every step in our manufacturing process, from sterilization of the parts to compounding the batch to filling it to packaging it. A lot of documentation. We tell folks when they come to work here, we make two things. We make product and we make paper. And the paper is the Bible of the batch, and that batch record has to be held for the life of the product plus several years because it can remain on the market for up to 5 years in some cases.
Thank you. And Nicole, let's talk about the facility a little bit. How large is your manufacturing facility, and how do you keep everything running smoothly? What types of equipment do you have? So let's talk a little bit about the facility and how that all runs smoothly.
The facility is 175,000 square feet. We have various equipment from, the manufacturing equipment, which is compounding. You saw some of that in the video, the big tanks that are there that feeds to filling lines. You saw some of the filling you saw into the dropper bottles that you might see at the store, tubes, which we're filling the ointments. And then we have a lot of packaging equipment in manufacturing that is adding a label to the bottle, putting the bottle inside of a carton, then bundling that into a wrap, and then putting that into a shipper, and then taking that shipper and creating a case on that. So that's the extent of the equipment in manufacturing, and then to support that. So to have a clean room be able to stay so clean, the biggest part of the controls for that are the HVAC, the air conditioning. There are, if you could imagine, in an hour, there are, over 200 air changes. So if you saw one of those filling rooms inside, the air that's in that will change 200 times in an hour in order to continually remove the particles that are in that air. So when have the sterile filling area where the product's actually being filled, that's what we call a class 100, which means that there's no more than 100 particles in a square meter in that space. And then beyond that is what's called class B, or class 10,000, which are 10,000 particles in that same volume. So the HVAC is providing a huge amount of the controls to be able to operate the clean room. We monitor temperature, pressure, humidity, We have to have cascading pressures. So if you were to put your hand outside the filling window and you're in packaging, you would feel a lot of air coming out of there because there's positive pressure in that room that's then going out to the non-sterile areas, because the packaging area is nowhere near as clean. It's an uncontrolled area, and it's immediately adjacent to this very controlled area. So in addition to, other utilities supplying the plant, we've got chiller systems, which are providing the cooling for the air handlers. They go to the, most of the coils for the air handlers. We have boilers, 2 very large boilers that are providing the heat. We have a very large water system as well, because one of the main ingredients in almost all of our products is water. So we have what's called water for injection, which is, to a very pure standard. So we have a vapor compression still that purifies the water. We take incoming city water and do all of these purification steps and then send that out to manufacturing. So all of that equipment has to be maintained. We have compressed air equipment, large commercial compressed air equipment that is running a lot of the valves that have to actuate, helping to move components in some cases. The compressed air is sterilized with a filter if it's in manufacturing. I think that's most of the, we have clean steam generators. So like Ken said, a lot of what we do is sterilizing. So we make clean steam here, and we will send that to the processes, and that clean steam is sterile and also purified. It's fed from the water for injection system, which is very pure water, then is feeding the clean steam generators to be able to send steam to the plant. And that steam will actually go inside of the vessels and sterilize the insides of the vessels before we put the product inside, to ensure that that when the product is in there, it is touching all things that are sterile. From that point of view. So that's some other major equipment that we help maintain here in the building.
Quite an operation. And we do have some more questions that came in. How does Bausch & Lomb support local vendors and suppliers for MRO?
So I can take that with Ken too, can probably help. We use a lot of local vendors to help us make parts, fabricate parts. A number of times we will, we'll buy an equipment from, an original equipment manufacturer that might be from Germany or from Italy. And, sometimes those parts are very difficult to get. They have very long lead times. We've been able to take those parts, be able to, put them on a machine to re-engineer them, and then work with local vendors to help us produce them. We're currently in a shutdown right now. And so we have a lot of local vendors that are here helping to support the shutdown, that are, doing anything from, they're replacing floors. We're putting stainless steel. We use a lot of stainless steel in the plant, just in general, just parts. A lot of those parts, if they are in the manufacturing, they have to be of certain materials that can withstand our manufacturing environment. It's very harsh, especially from the chemicals that we use to disinfect. It has chemicals that can eat things if they're, aluminum and, other materials. So a lot of what's inside manufacturing is stainless steel. Ken, I don't know if you want to add to any of that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it is our local vendors, the maintenance repair folks, absolutely critical to our operation. And we have really, really good relationships with them. They understand when we come to them, that we are in immediate need. That means one of our lines is down, and when our lines aren't running, we're losing money. It's not a matter of always just making money. We're losing money because we're paying for the product to be there and the people to be there. So our local vendors are absolutely critical. And sometimes we have to pay a premium for their service, but that's okay. It's more important to know that they're there and they have the ability to work with us. And many of them, we have the owner's telephone number, and they tell us 24/7, you call, we'll be there. And that is absolutely critical to a manufacturing operation, to have those relationships.
And can you tell us a little bit more about the shutdown? Go Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say we're a 24/7 plant, so we operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you know we're also we've been growing and we've had a lot of growth, and so we have very limited capacity. So you know during the times when we're manufacturing, there's not as much time for improvements and running studies and things like that. So twice a year we have a planned shutdown. And the length of that shutdown is really dictated by the different projects that we are working on. Earlier this year, because of COVID, we had plans to have a 2-week shutdown, and that got changed to just the essential maintenance that we needed to do from a compliance point of view, and to ensure that we could continue running for another 6 months. So that's what was prioritized in April. We were down for just about a week, and then there's about a week of restoration. So once you break into manufacturing and you start doing any kind of work, if it's maintenance or anything, you know, you've just opened it up to all the contaminations that can come in from the outside. So it takes us about a week to restore, you know, after the shutdown has ended. So a lot of those projects that were meant for April moved to October, plus then all of the projects we were already going to do in October. So it made it like a super shutdown for us this time, and we've been very fortunate that even with COVID to you know have been able to keep the facility in a state of control and safe for everybody that is here working. Some of the major projects that we're working on are some life cycle replacements. So we've got some air handlers that were original with the building, and we've been here 30 years now. So one of the big projects was to replacing air handlers, the ceiling that's feeding the air in 2 of our fill rooms. And so that was really the project that dictated that this shutdown needed to be a 3-week shutdown. And so then other projects take advantage of the fact that we're going to be down for 3 weeks. We did a number of floors, either new floors or floor repairs. We are still, you know, doing a lot of work in packaging and bringing in new equipment. And we had new equipment that we had on order, and the shutdown is the time to bring in that new equipment. So we brought in new case packing and palletizing equipment. We've also recently brought in a new filling and packaging line, and so some of the shutdown was working on those projects. Did I miss any, Ken, that are kind of the big ones that are out there?
Yeah, those are the big ones.
Some of
yeah.
the new finishes, like you know, even in our compounding area, you know, we're always trying to improve, and so we refinished the ceiling, and so we used a product called Tachyron, which is it's PVC, and it's like a peel and stick, and it gave us a new finish on our ceiling. So you know we're always balancing. We're adding in new equipment to keep up with capacity and growth, and also maintaining the facility so that we can stay up for another 6 months without having any downtime. And so
how many total lines do you have?
6 aseptic filling lines.
Yep, 6 and 6. Yep.
And we are, 6 aseptic filling lines, 6 packaging lines, and we have just recently brought in a 7th aseptic filling line that was just installed this year, and we'll go through an entire year of qualifications before we're able to start producing product on that line for the patients.
We do have another question that came in. What is the best path for a new potential supplier to take to find out if they can be qualified to be a supplier for Bausch and Lomb?
That's a good question.
So I think the easiest thing we've done before is that if you have a product or a service that's theirs, to contact the facility. And you'll be put in touch with somebody in the management group to set up a meet and greet or a meeting to kind of show your services. We do that in manufacturing from time to time. We have a lot of specialized materials that we procure, and as new things come out, we like to see them. Some folks have come in and done demonstrations and things along those lines. So I think it's just a matter of contacting the facility, and our security team will put you in contact with whoever's in charge of that area.
Okay.
Right. You can also, go to, drop off. If there's brochures, you could mail brochures. We get that. If it's a need that we have and it fits, then we follow up on it.
Okay, thank you for that. And Bob, what would you look for in a potential candidate? So someone looking for a job at Bausch and Lomb, what skills or, what experience would they need to have, or what do you look for in a candidate?
So, yeah, that's a very good question. It kind of depends on the role and the level they're looking at. If you're an entry-level person coming in the door, we usually look for someone who's energetic. How do you tell if somebody has a great attitude? Just from upfront interactions, it's all, you get a lot of first impressions. You ask them what they've done before. Have they volunteered in their school or in the community? That they help take care of people. Do they have aspirations to excel and improve? So for the entry level, it's that quick fit. You can tell within minutes if somebody really would fit here. As you kind of move up different levels, you get into your technical degrees, your quality lab degrees, things like that. A lot of that comes from your resume, but it all goes back to attitude and do you have the heart to succeed and apply yourself? You want to show that you have, dedication and resilience, and that you'll try anything once, right? And throughout life, people do fail in many different aspects, but it's kind of getting back up and trying it again. And here at Bausch and Lomb, we have a very good training program. And we don't just throw people to the wolves. They get their training coming in the door the first 2-3 days of becoming an employee. A lot of that's focused on safety and quality and how you make an impact. But then as you go into the different roles, whether it's packaging, filling, maintenance, or the quality labs, you get specific training to make sure you succeed. And so we look for those people who, quite honestly, it comes down to do they want to succeed? Are they a good person that really cares about what they do?
And do you have any
I
type
echo
of
that? I hire people with personality over experience, and do they take initiative and is there desire to work here? Those people you can teach the things that we do here, but your attitude and the way that you approach your work is that sometimes it's not teachable. You come with that.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that. So you look at hire for behavior and train for skills, right? We do have a robust training program here. Within manufacturing, we have a matrix of training that employees could go through. And let's say a lot of folks who may come into the manufacturing arena and are not familiar or don't have manufacturing experience, they can also go through our Kelly services, which is a temp agency, and they could try out, for the next 30, 60, 90 days. Is this something that they want to do? Is this something that they want to get into entry level and maybe progress at another time? But we basically do a thorough interview, and we want to find out, is this somewhere you just want to come and do a quick job and just get some money, or do you want to earn a career? Do you want to earn more training, get a degree? We could facilitate all that.
Mm-hmm.
And how would a student go about applying? Or
So,
anyone that would like a position?
So actually, if you go back on the hiring slide, we do have where they can apply online at bauschhealth.com/careers. And it's a very simple process. They could go ahead and apply online.
Okay,
we
very
have
easy.
temps in every, temporary is a good way to come in and see, is this what you're looking for? Is this what you like? And we bring in contractors, temporaries from, in engineering and maintenance and quality and manufacturing, throughout the, the whole organization. It's a good way to come in. And a number of the engineers that, that have started that way here are full-time people with Bausch and Lomb now.
And it sounds like most of you fell in love with it that way as well. Mm-hmm. So that's a great opportunity and something really to think about as an option for students or anyone that might be transitioning to a different career.
Yeah,
we have another
thing I'm sorry, Beth. We also have programs where we have internships. So we do post some of those availability through Handshake or through the Kelly website. So we've had a couple of internships from engineering, from safety, environmental health and safety, and they go through internship programs for a few months. And it's been very successful so far as well.
Mm-hmm. And Handshake is the program at USF. So if you are, at USF, there's a place where we post, and so we have a current intern even here right now in engineering. That is, I think he's in his third year of engineering school.
Right. We've had human resources intern. We've had quality in the chemistry department. We've had another one in safety as well.
And we have a question came in. Do you train in Lean and Six Sigma?
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is Bob. We have a whole enterprise excellence program here. So like over this shutdown, while we have people that have additional time for training, we're doing, we have a whole group going through yellow belt training, which is the higher level training. We're working on the operators on practical problem solving. So it's kind of your lowest level of, you may never heard of it. It's 5 whys. How do you get to a problem and figure out what the root cause is so you can correct the right thing so it doesn't happen again. So, and then it goes all the way up to our KPIs and metrics at the leadership level and the metrics we send off site. We also have a really cool kind of grassroots program, which is a board where people on the plant floor or anywhere in the building identify a problem and say, they put out a little recommendation. There's a little card they fill out. It takes about a minute. And then they slide it into a board on the wall. And then our enterprise excellence team goes up, kind of addresses it, checks it out, and then you get feedback to the employee. Hey, this is a great idea. It could either save time, money, or it could be a safety improvement. And then you choose a team and you work on improving the business.
Hey, what a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a question that came in general, how often and how long does it take to be identified for a promotion range of years of service before that opportunity arises?
So we do have an annual performance review program, and if employees are identified during that time for a promotion, they're generally submitted to the next higher level. However, throughout their career here, there are opportunities where employees can apply for other positions where they are considered promotions as well. So as a matter of fact, I believe in 2019, we had over 40 different promotions and lateral moves within the company, given the opportunities that we had open. Anybody else?
I'm sorry. We have another question that came in. Nicole, after your maintenance cycle and you come back online, do you requalify all of your manufacturing lines?
That was a really good question that I saw through there. We do qualification, and it depends. And in one part, if there was a change, like for example, let's say that we use the time of the shutdown to make a change of an improvement on a line. Maybe we've upgraded a sensor, or we've done something. There will be a level of requalification related to that change that we did. So across all of the lines, all of the facilities, there is a qualification that happens. For example, in the situation where I was saying we've replaced the ceilings, and so it's new air conditioning that's coming into 2 filling lines. You know, there's an extensive validation that's going on for those 2 rooms before we'll be able to use those, even following the shutdown. The rest of the lines will be released first while those are waiting on the shutdowns. The other thing that we do here is to challenge to ensure that we make product that is sterile. Is we challenge each one of our filling lines 2 times a year with a sugar broth, and we basically fill that through the lines. And if there is any kind of contamination, that broth will grow and alert us that there's a contamination. And you never want any contamination in any of your called media fills. So coming out of a shutdown, in order to qualify that we did come back and we've restored the area properly, we do one of those on one of the fill lines coming out of the shutdown. So we do that.
Yeah, that was a great question. Thank you so much. And we're getting close to wrapping up. Is there anything anyone would like to add before we do close out the session for the day?
No, if we're wrapping up, I'd like to say, check out the website. There's a lot of opportunities here, everything from entry level to, we have the high tech jobs, and it's a great place to work. It's safe. It's clean, as you heard about our clean rooms. It's hard to find in the industry. Having worked in steel and chemical, you get different levels of cleanliness, but ours is very clean. It's in a great part of Tampa. It's warm down here, and if you can't get in initially, keep trying. We have people who work for ABM, does all our cleaning and our lands, groundskeeping and stuff like that. We have probably another, 500 some people through vendors that they're delivering products to us every day, shipping, receiving, across the board. And Nicole talked about all the engineer support, the validation support, and then our temp agency. So there's many ways to get noticed and get in here. And like I said, it all comes down to heart and your dedication and wanting to do a good job, and having a great attitude. So thank you, everyone.
Well, I'd like to thank you all, Dora, Ken, Bob, Nicole. Thank you so much for joining us and showing us a little bit more about your company and what it takes to work at Bausch & Lomb. You have a wonderful facility, so we're so happy to have you right here in the Tampa Bay area. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Please make sure you check back at our Manufacturing Month Hub. We have lots more live tours that are available for viewing. We also have lots of on-demand tours. So any of the tours that you have participated in, those are available right on the hub for on-demand viewing. So thank you again. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.